Meeting to order. Municipality of Oakland-Wawanesa would like to acknowledge and recognize that we are operating on Treaty 1 and Treaty 2 lands, being the original territory of the Anishinaabe and its quota nations and the homeland of the Métis Nation. Be it resolved that the agenda for the May 19th, 2026 meeting be accepted as presented. Moved by Councillor Jones, second Councillor McDonald. All in favor? Be it resolved that the minutes of April 21st, 2026 regular meeting of council be hereby approved as circulated. Moved by Councillor Hatch, seconded Councillor Fisher. Any errors or omissions? All in favor? Finance, be it resolved that the May 11, 2026 general accounts payable being checks number 8799 to 8848 and ABW-06 and ABW-07 in the amount of $480,012.12 be hereby approved. Moved by Councillor McDonald, second Councillor Jones. Any questions, concerns? All in favor? Be resolved that direct deposit 402 being staff payroll for the period April 11th to April 24th, 2026 in the amount of $14,230.79 be approved. Moved by Councillor Hatch, seconder Councillor Jones. Discussion. All in favor? Be it resolved direct deposit 403 being staff payroll for the period April 25th to May 8th, 2026 in the amount of $15,028.27 be hereby approved. Moved by Councillor McDonald, second Councillor Fisher. Discussion. All in favor? Carried. Be resolved that direct deposit 404 being council indemnities for the month of April 2026 in the amount of $6,327.98 be hereby approved. Moved by Councillor McDonald, second Councillor Fisher. Discussion. All in favor? Utility accounts. Be resolved that the May 11, 2026 utility account payable being checks numbered 1427 to 1439 in the amount of $17,478.88 be hereby approved. Moved by Councillor Fisher, seconder Councillor Hatch. Discussion. All in favor? Be it resolved that the statement of revenue and revenues and expenditures report to April 30th, 2026 be received as presented. Moved by McDonald, seconder Councillor Jones. Discussion. All in favor? Be it resolved that the bank reconciliations for the month of April 2026 be approved as previously circulated. Moved by Councillor Hatch, seconder Councillor Fisher. Discussion. All in favor? Fine. Okay, so we'll go to public hearing.
We should go to public hearings as they were scheduled for 9 and 9:05.
Okay. Be it resolved that the regular meeting of council be recessed to allow council to hold public hearings to receive representations from any person who wish to make them in respect to a conditional use and variation applications. Moved by Councillor Jones, second Councillor Fisher. All in favor? Okay.
Okay. Council is prepared to hold a public hearing on a conditional use application, which is to allow for a mobile home in an RR10 zone. I would remind council that you had the discussion at the last meeting with respect to the report that had been received from the Keystone Planning District on a approximately 15-year-old mobile home, and council had approved that. This is the public hearing that would formally allow for it. And we do have the applicants in attendance if they would like to come forward and speak, or should council have any questions for them.
Have any questions? Anything they wish to?
Anything you would like to add?
Not really, if there's any questions, it's free to ask questions.
Council? Okay. Okay.
To close this
Yeah,
public
so
hearing.
there's our representatives in regard to conditional use application number CU 01-26OW to allow a mobile home on lot 2, plan number 69198 on part of southeast quarter 1819 WPM in the RR10 rural large lot residential zone, Taves, have been dealt with. Therefore, be it resolved that the public hearing be concluded. Moved by Councillor Fisher, second Councillor Jones. All in favor? Carried. Okay, so you can move to
The next public hearing is a variation application, and it is to decrease a front yard setback, and that is within the town of Wawanesa. And it is for Mr. Gullett, and it is decreasing the front yard from 25 feet to 17 feet, which basically aligns with the other homes along that street. Is there anybody in attendance who would like to come forward and address council? There is no one.
okay, therefore be resolved that the public hearing be concluded. Moved by Councillor McDonald, second Councillor Hatch. All in favor? Carried.
Okay, in the last public hearing, and this will be new for this council, it is a combined public hearing, and it is a conditional use as well as a variation application, and it is to allow for an ag business in an ag zone, and it is also to increase the minimum acres from 10 acres to 61.92 acres. And again, there are people in attendance if they would like to address council. Both the applicant as well as a neighbor are in attendance. If you have any questions or any representation that you would like to make to council, I would invite you to come forward at this time.
Okay. Result representatives in regard to conditional use UCU 0226OW and variation application VO 0426OW to A, allow an ag business in the ag zone, and B, to increase the minimum acres for ag business from 10 acres to 61.92 acres for the property located northwest 2819 WPM under Dirksen, have been dealt with. Therefore, be it resolved that the public hearing may be concluded. Moved by Councillor Jones, second Councillor Fisher. All in favor? Okay. Go back to the.
Does council want to go back to the delegation, or do you want to do the decisions on these matters and let these folks
We can do that.
get away?
Move that.
So those will be your first items under the general business.
Okay, be it resolved that conditional use application CU-01-26-OW to allow a mobile home on lot 2, plan number 69198, located on part of southeast border 1819 WPM in an an RR10 zone under TAVE be approved. Moved by Councillor Fisher, second by Councillor McDonald. Discussion? All in favor? Be resolved, the variation application VO-01-26-OW to decrease the front yard setback from 25 feet to 17 feet at 114 7th Street, Wawanesa, located in an RG residential general zone under Gullett be approved. Moved by Councillor Jones, seconder. Councillor McDonald, discussion? All in favor? Be resolved that conditional use application CU-02-26-OW to allow for an agricultural business on agricultural zone located at northwest 2819 WPM under Dirksen be approved. Moved by Councillor Jones, seconder. Councillor Hatch, discussion? All in favor? Great. Be resolved the variation application number VO-04-26-OW to increase the minimum acres for an agricultural business in the agricultural zone from 10 acres to 61.92 acres located at northwest 2819 WPM under Dirksen be approved. Moved by Councillor Jones, seconder. Councillor McDonald, all in favor?
Okay, so for those in attendance, I will provide you the copies of the conditional uses and the variation orders for your files, and I will send the information into Keystone Planning District.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Briefly, you want to go, so you want to tell me that? Or not?
Yes.
You want to tell the ladies that we're doing the assessment?
Hey.
He's deaf too. I know, we know. We understand your shortfall, so yeah. Wonderful.
Brenda, we would invite you to come forward and do your presentation. Need to hand those out.
Yes. We need some extras there, chief.
Okay.
I did, but.
You my lady? Don't change. Don't change. Anybody left?
Having some technical difficulties this morning, so, I'm gonna go from here. So this is, presentation.
Brenda, we'll get, wait till.
Sorry, yes.
Sorry about that.
Yeah.
I just want to make sure all done. Okay, go ahead. Thank you.
This is presentation of the tax impact for the 2027 reassessment for the municipality of Oakland-Wawanesa. The report that was just handed out, it's an overview of the impact that it will have on your municipality. For 2027, the assessed value of all properties will be updated to the April 1st, 2025 market values, which is the reference date, from the April 1st, 2023 market values. So property assessments were last updated in 2025, and it's a 2-year cycle. The updated assessments will be used for the 2027 property taxes. This report provides details on how the taxable assessments have changed in your municipality and across the province, and how reassessment 2027 will impact the municipal and school taxes. The objective for reassessment of properties is to provide equitable, fairness amongst ratepayers, and just to have greater ratepayer understanding. The reassessment reflects how property values have changed since the last reassessment in 2025. And these changes can be attributed to a combination of changes to the supply and demand for real estate, new construction, improvements to existing properties. The province's taxable assessment has increased by 12.1 billion, which is an 11% increase, to 124.9 billion from 112.8. That includes the city of Winnipeg. Excluding the city of Winnipeg, the increase was 5.5 billion or 10.4%, which went from 52.8 billion to 58.3 billion. Your municipality's taxable assessment has increased by 35 million or 17% to 239 million from 204 million. On page 2, the first table is the changes in your municipality's taxable assessment. This is the portioned values, not the taxes. So we see that single family increased 13%, apartment increased 1.2%, condos decreased 0.5%. So total residential was about 12.9%. Then farm increased 32.1%, commercial 3.4%, institutional had a decrease of 1.3%, pipelines 3.4% increase and railway 12.3%. So a total of 17.2%. Typically, if the assessed values increase, then the mill rate would decrease, provided there are zero changes to the mill rate and to your budget. So assessment increases and decreases from reassessment do not necessarily mean that there will be tax increases and decreases. Property assessments simply provide the basis for distributing taxes amongst the property owners. As you know, you as council, you set the mill rates through the municipal levy. School division does special levies, province has one. Shifting of the three tax levies occurs between and within property classes when property assessments increase or decrease relative to the average on a municipal, school division, or province-wide basis. So only properties seeing above average assessment increases are likely to have an increase in taxes. These impacts do not take into account other taxes levied on a part of your municipality, so local improvements or special services. Property tax impacts have been calculated using the following methodology. So there's the general municipal levy, the school division special levy, and the education support levy. Then on page 4, the table illustrates how property taxes for each class of property in your municipality are impacted by 2027. Again, this is based on no change to the budget or the mill rate. And this is gross tax, not net. And this table does not include farmland school tax rebate. So you see by property class, residential has a overall decrease of 1.2%, and total for the municipality is a 1.7% increase. The graph below shows how the property taxes of individual properties may be impacted. So the number of properties with increases, 1,161 and 431 with decreases. The table on page 5 shows how the municipal levy of each tax class of property in your municipality is impacted. And this table is municipal levy only. It does not include anything school division. So total residential is a decrease of 3.6%, and overall is 0%. Properties with an assessment increase of less than 17.2%, which is your municipal average, should see a municipal tax decrease, and properties with an assessment increase of greater than 17.2% would likely see a municipal tax increase. As council, you have options to moderate tax impacts. Page 6 lists those, phase in tax increases or decreases, municipal acts tax tools, establish a tax credit program, vary property tax portion percentages. If you choose to do any of those, it would be best to contact your MSO for assistance on that. I don't have much knowledge on any of that or any knowledge whatsoever. Page 7 is just a list of all provincial tax credits that are available and being used. So there's the homeowners affordability tax credit, the renters affordability tax credit, senior school tax rebate, farmland school tax rebate, and school tax rebate on farm properties. And page 8, if you have any questions or need more information, you can use any of the following websites on page 8. For ratepayers, there's our provincial website. My Property MB is something new over the last few years, where ratepayers can sign up online to view their assessed values online and receive all their statements online instead of in the mail. There's customer service lines, assessment fact sheets. You can call us at any time. Open houses are held May, June, July. You guys don't have one. Let me see here, but there's one in November, June 16th, Riverdale, July 9th, Carberry, June 23rd, or any ratepayer can come into the Brandon office at any time, or they can come here if they have questions and you can direct them to us. Your appeal deadline for the 2027 reassessment is October 5th. And the Board of Revision date is currently set for October 20th. And the The 2027 assessment notices go into the mail today. They hit the mail the day that we do this tax impact report to council. So in the next week or so, you could start receiving phone calls or having people drop by, or we could. These numbers are all preliminary. Based on what happens over the summer, if there's any new builds, things like that that get picked up, it will change and an amended roll will be delivered in the fall. I think that's it. Does anyone?
Yeah, I have a couple questions.
Yeah.
Number one, I just want to make it clear so everybody understands. This is based on the budgets that you're talking about,
Yes.
the budget that we have. And the changes here actually end up to be net zero.
Yeah.
Right? So we're not increasing how much money comes into the municipality by this revision, we're just increasing the tax levy or the assessment, right?
The assessed value of the properties is increasing 17.2%.
Right.
In your municipality.
Right.
Now, what you guys decide to do with your budget.
Yeah.
Will determine, we're just letting you know that your assessed value is increasing.
Yes.
So you'll receive more tax dollars from the increased assessed values, without changing anything. But if your budget needs to increase, then you will have to shift accordingly.
Yeah, I guess what I'm saying here, because we look at farm is going up by $91,000 and residential is going down by 27. So just to understand that this, what you're doing is equaling out at the end of the day, it's zeros for a total.
Yes,
We're not shifting, it's a shift, basically. It's not a case of just increase on one element.
Yeah.
The other side of that, I wanted to know, I've asked many questions on this, never really got a clear answer, is that the pipeline, which is classed as personal property.
Yes.
Not classed as real property. And we never found out how that, because when you talk about sale of property, everybody can understand as far as reassessments
Yep.
go, that the real estate changes, and so that's the increases their value, but we don't know why the pipeline in this situation goes down by $46,000.
so pipeline is based on, I believe, volume of use.
Okay,
I can look into that though. Ashley, my coworker, is the one that deals predominantly with all the pipeline
yeah,
in the southern Manitoba area. I can question her on
Yeah,
that.
if we can get some sort, because I've had many questions from ratepayers. Why does the pipeline go down when it's not being sold?
Yeah, and I believe it has something to do with how much of it is being used
Yeah.
over the year.
Yeah.
But I will
Yeah.
find that out
If-
for
if
sure
you
for you.
can, so
Yes,
just we can answer
Yep.
some questions on that.
absolutely.
Yeah, Counselors, anybody else have any questions?
Well, the pipeline, they've decommissioned 2 pipes, so that's one of the reasons that maybe it's gone
It
down.
could be, but.
Yeah, and,
it's-
and when they decommission them, we do remove them, so that could be why you're seeing a decrease. I can look into
Yeah.
that further once I'm back in the office.
I'm not sure how this has, and I'm going back and just thinking about the last 3 reassessments have seen the pipelines keep going down. I may be wrong in that. I know for at least 1 year, they
I
did
have last year's here.
go down last year.
It was an 8.8% increase
Okay, so then
or
you
change, so $28,000.
went up,
Yes,
and going down this year, 45,000.
yeah,
And I think the year before it went down. I know it went down before. So
Yeah.
we wanted to know why that happened.
no, I can definitely get an answer for you on
Yeah,
that.
It just, we don't see that.
Yes,
Explanation wise.
Yep.
Okay. Anybody else? Did a good job.
all right, well,
Thank you
thank
very
you.
much.
Also, just with the election this year, if you end up having new members and you want a refresher on any of this, or you want us to come back out and go over it again, we can definitely do that for you.
Not a question of if, it's how many.
Oh. Okay, then.
And
Okay.
Brenda, we can make this,
Public?
put this on our website now.
Yeah, that is up to you to do. The province has started doing it now too, but not usually until late summer, early fall. But it is your information. If you want to make it public, you absolutely can. Yeah. Thank you guys very much.
Thank you. Okay, we resolved the presentation from Brenda Grissick, Provincial Assessment Department on the tax impact with respect to reassessment be received. Moved by Councillor Fisher, second Councillor McDonald. All in favor? Okay, we go right to communication.
Under communications, we have the Accessibility News, May 2026 newsletter. There was information from Age Friendly Connections, and that dealt more with the census 2026. Association of Manitoba Municipalities provided several communications. They are dated May the 1st, the 4th, the 6th, the 8th, and the 11th. We received crossing notification from CPKC, and that was back on April the 30th. Federation of Canadian Municipalities sent in 3 communiques. They are dated April the 27th, May the 4th, and May the 11th. The Manitoba Good Roads Association has put out the invitation for people for the 2026 annual competition. Would ask council members if there are anybody in your neck of the woods that have nice farmyards, city yards, whatever. If they are interested in having their names put forward, you could bring those to council. Manitoba Transportation and Infrastructure sent us information on the approval of our emergency plan. I would remind council that we are going to have an emergency planning session on June the 25th. So please keep that date available. That is a joint meeting with ourselves and the Council of Cornwallis. Municipal Government and Advisory Services provided information on well testing. Municipal World sent us out communications dated April the 22nd, the 23rd, and the 29th. NAMS Canada provided information on support that they provide for green infrastructure funding. Office of the Fire Commissioner sent out information on the municipal burning restrictions. There were thank yous received for the grants from Prairie Mountain Health, the RCA Museum, and Wawanesa and District Community Hall. And Transport Canada sent us an inspection report showing that there is nothing the municipality needs to undertake.
Okay, be it resolved that the above noted communications be received. Moved by Mr. Fisher, second Councillor Jones. All in favor? Okay, committee reports. Councillor Fisher, you have a written report. Anything to add?
Nothing to add.
Councillor Jones, you have a written report. Anything to add here?
Just like that, I got a call from Jake Holford, from Oakland Colony about a road that had washed out a couple of years ago. And I wasn't able to get down there to look at it, but I'll have a call with Chelsea just to see what the condition actually is and see if there's anything we can do to help.
That was my motion. It's a PR road.
Yeah.
That's nothing to do with us.
I'll just double check just to see if we can.
Okay. Councillor Hatch, your written report. Anything to add?
Nothing more to add.
All reports there. Councillor McDonald, your written report. Anything to add?
Nothing to add.
Written reports there. Nothing to add to it. CAO report. Anything to add?
Only a reminder that registration is open for any candidate who might be interested in registering for the head of council position.
Finance officer report. Anything to add?
Nothing yet.
Richard's there.
She's on.
Pardon?
Chelsea's on Tuesday.
Oh, she. Okay, Chelsea, anything to add to your report?
Just took her microphone off. I bet she didn't know sound, but that's right.
Okay. Fire chief's reports there. Okay, be it resolved that the verbal and written reports be received. Moved by Councillor Hatch, seconded by Councillor McDonald. All in favor? Okay, bylaws. Whereas information dated April 17, 2026 from the financial analysts, municipal funding policy and programs has been received with respect to amending bylaw number 44-2025. Now therefore be resolved that bylaw number 50-2025 being a bylaw to amend special services bylaw number 44-2025 to replace Schedule B be given no further readings. Moved by Councillor McDonald, seconder. Councillor Fisher, maybe this give us
I could. So, council had adopted bylaw number 44-2025. It was a special services levy bylaw. We realized after the fact that the formula didn't quite carry through. So the individual from Municipal Solutions who had helped us prepare that bylaw had prepared an amending bylaw and a letter to the municipal board so that we could make the amendment to change out the Schedule Bs. What the province has told us is not to do it with an amending bylaw. They want it done strictly through the bylaw maintenance program. Therefore, to clear bylaw number 50 off of our books, we need a resolution that it be given no further readings.
and
Third month.
okay. All in favor? Okay, be resolved that prior to a new special levy being imposed on 2029, this is for waste and recycling. A review be undertaken to consider the cost of including a diversion program under Smiley Works. Moved by Councillor Hatch, seconder. Councillor Fisher, discussion. So this comes out that, okay, yeah, go ahead.
Mr. Chairman, I wonder if, we could possibly be, and it's in 2029, could we possibly table this for a new council?
Well,
Undertake it, or?
what happens here is that being 2029, because we have our special levy that's in place right now until 2029 for waste and recycling. And this would be a considerable increase, which we can't do because it's a special levy. So it can't be done until it's revised, maybe in 2029, they can take it on. That'll be another council. That's what this basically does, correct?
Yeah,
Yes,
I like the idea of it, but my biggest issue is that to their profit and to what they're doing, I think it's a great idea, but us paying for them to take our stuff and paying them for that, to have them have a profit off of it, just doesn't really
Yeah.
make sense to
if it has, you're gonna have to take a lot of research to find out exactly what the costs are gonna be. If it's gonna decrease our costs by that much, it'd be okay. But I think that takes a lot more
Yeah.
review than what we've had.
And I think, like, personally, I think that it'll unfairly just cost the town, right? Because it's a bid program for the most part.
Yeah. Okay, all in favor? Okay, so we're good there now, right? Be it resolved that the proposed fiber path addition across Road 44 North in Northeast 7818 W outlined on the maps attached to correspondence dated April 29, 2026 from RF Now be approved subject to the terms and conditions of the installation agreement dated October 26, 2023. Moved by Councillor McDonald, second by Councillor Ash. Discussion? All in favor? Be it resolved that the request from AIM Land Services Limited on behalf of Enbridge Pipelines Incorporated for temporary equipment crossing, temporary access, and temporary workspace for a borehole drilling project in southeast 22717 WPM as outlined in the correspondence dated April 8, 2026, be approved under the same terms and conditions as the original agreement. Moved by Mr. Adams, second by Councillor McDonald. Discussion? All in favor? Whereas there has been an increase in truck traffic on 41 North between roads 96 and 97 West to access the gravel pit used by the municipality. Now therefore be it resolved that the dust control be applied to that portion of road 41 North, commencing at road 96 West and continuing westward for
I believe Chelsea had said 600 feet.
600 feet. Okay. Moved by Mr. Ash, seconder. Mr. Jones, discussion.
He said yes, 600 feet.
Councillor Fisher? No? Okay. All in favor? Carry. Okay. This is a being resolved that in accordance with the grant request policy, Council 002, a donation in the amount of so many dollars be provided to the U15 Provincial Tier 1 Provincial Baseball Committee, whereby the amount of the donation shall be expended from the unallocated portion of the general government grants line item. Moved by Councillor McDonald, seconder. Councillor Fisher, discussion. Councillor McDonald.
Just wondering if we've done ones before these, what are we thinking? Any idea, Jim?
There is currently $320 that is unexpended. It will be council's decision as to if and how much of a donation they want to make. The information that was received show that they have got categories of a single, a double, a triple, a home run, and a grand slam. And those are based on $100, $200, $300 and up. I suspect that they would be happy with any amount the council were to decide to donate, regardless of whether it fit into their specific sponsorship packages or not. Just a reminder that for the remainder of the year, there's only the $320 that is left unaccounted for, although typically by this point in the year, we have received most requests.
Is this provincials being held here?
Yes.
Anybody want to suggest a certain amount? Nothing, or?
I'd be okay with, like you said, Jody, most donations requests have already been gone through. I'd be okay with using our remainder requests or remainder funds for this request.
So that would be to even it out against $300, what you're suggesting?
Correct.
Yeah.
I wonder if we should go 200 and then keep a little bit just in case someone else uses it. Just my thought. That's just-
Okay, it's Councillor McDonald who has got the motion on the floor, so if he is wanting to say 200,
Okay.
then if somebody wants to amend that,
Amend it to 300. If you wish. If you wish to move it to 300.
I amended to 300.
Okay, so the amendment would go first.
yes,
So,
then we would need a second of the
okay, need
amendment.
a seconder for the amendment. Councillor Fisher. Discussion on that.
Fine, work on it, work on it.
All in favor? So that's in place of the 200.
200.
Okay, so to do it on the donation now, overall, the first resolution, all in favor? Okay, left.
Lost my.
Okay.
It's just frozen for a moment. If we need to, I can,
Plug in on.
I got a lot of, there are words here.
you go ahead and start reading and I'll see if I
Okay.
get there by the time.
Therefore, be resolved that proponents provided this is to do with the resolution support wind tower proposal. Therefore, be it resolved that the proponent provided the proposed project layout, including turbine locations, access roads, and associated infrastructure to the rural municipality. And be it further resolved that the council of Oakland-Wawanesa supports the proponent's submission of a proposal for the project located on the municipal lands of Oakland-Wawanesa in the RFP. And it be it further resolved that the proponent has undertaken or has committed to undertake reasonable steps to initiate community engagement activities in respect to the project. And be it further resolved that the local zoning bylaws allow the generator's plant or any portion of the generator's plant to be built on a portion of the site which is subject to the Planning Act, CCSM, page 80. And it be it further resolved that the resolution's sole purpose is to satisfy the requirements of the RFP and may not be used for the purpose of any other form of approval in relation to the project or any other purposes. It does not constitute final approval of any permits, licenses, or future municipal approvals other that may be required. Moved by Councilor McDonald, second. Councilor Jones. Discussion. So this is strictly, it's not approving it, it's just giving an opportunity to go ahead with the RFP.
Correct.
Okay, all in favor? Okay, be it resolved that the administration is directed to prepare the necessary RFP documents for immediate release for the creation of a new development plan. Moved by Councilor Fisher, second Councilor Hatch, discussion on that. This is something that we have to do every 5 years.
It is, they were supposed to be raising the 5 years, they didn't do that.
So ours is expiring, so we need another one, so. All in favor? Be it resolved, the administration be directed to prepare the necessary tender documents for immediate release for 2026 material pricing for road reconstruction. Moved by Councilor Hatch, second Councilor McDonald. Discussion. This is the same as last year, I presume. All in favor? Carry. Be it resolved, the administration be directed to prepare the necessary tender documents for immediate release for 2026 equipment pricing for road reconstruction. Moved by Councilor Jones, seconder Councilor McDonald. Discussion. All in favor? Be resolved that the Manitoba Municipalities online report for the month of March 2026 be received and any necessary actions to the bylaw maintenance program be hereby approved.
Let me just check, is it March or is it April?
Should be April.
Should be April.
Right, we will change that
Yeah,
online
April.
report for the month of April 2026 be received and any necessary actions to the bylaw maintenance program be hereby approved. Moved by Councilor Fisher, seconder Councilor Hatch. Discussion. All in favor? Be it resolved, the Keystone Planning District assume assume responsibility for Part 3 building inspections with terms and conditions as outlined in the current agreement. Moved by Councilor McDonald, seconder, Councilor Fisher. Discussion. All in favor? Okay, so we have,
You did receive the building inspection report at the time that we were doing the agenda. I was not sure what the recommendation might be. If council wants the opportunity to consider this in camera first.
I would like to do that.
Okay. And I never did receive the inspection report related to the trailer, so that one will just be removed from the agenda.
Okay, so we'll leave that for in camera, right? Now, we're going into resolutions that have been passed to us by other municipalities to support them. Now therefore be it resolved that AMM continue lobbying the Manitoba government to implement a new training and employment model whereby each vacant PCP, which is your paramedic position in the province, results in the immediate hiring of a trainee who will begin PCP education, be supported through the mentorship, paid training and part-time work opportunities, and commit to a return of service agreement to ensure long-term staffing stability in rural municipalities, similar to the successful BC model. And therefore be it further resolved that the AMM lobby the provincial government to engage the College of Paramedics to revisit the curriculum and be flexible on the 312 required EMR training hours so that more PCP trainees can be recruited in rural Manitoba and get more ambulances on the road sooner. And be it further resolved that while it is recognized that the goal is to have the highest trained paramedic possible, the current service gaps require a practical approach to ensure residents receive timely emergency response, stabilization, and transport to hospital care. And that the AMM, having heard from its rural municipalities, fully supports these initiatives. Moved by Councillor Fisher and Councillor McDonald. Discussion. All in favor? Pest control. Therefore, be it resolved that the Association of Manitoba Municipalities be requested to lobby the province of Manitoba to, number one, advocate to the federal government and Health Canada to expand the current emergency authorization or establish a similar approval framework to include Manitoba producers. And two, engage with AMM and relevant stakeholders to promote equitable and consistent access to effective gopher control tools across the province. Moved by Councillor Fisher, second Councillor Hatch. Discussion. All in favor? Okay. Impact to inter-facility transfers on rural EMS capacity. Therefore, be it resolved that the Association of Manitoba Municipalities be requested to lobby the provincial government and shared health to, number one, review and amend the directive to ensure a minimum ambulance coverage is maintained within each service area. Number two, incorporate local EMS operational input into dispatch and transfer decisions. And number three, address EMS staffing shortages to support sustainable delivery. Moved by Councillor McDonald, second Councillor Hatch. Discussion. All in favor? Okay, accessible financial tools for rural entrepreneurs. Therefore, be it resolved that AMM lobby both provincial and federal governments to work with financial institutions and economic development agencies to develop and expand accessible finance tools for rural entrepreneurs, including loan guarantees and flexible lending criteria. And be it further resolved that AMM lobby to advocate the policies that incentivize financial institutions to increase rural lending and support business accession and start up opportunities in small communities. Moved by Councillor Jones, seconder. Donald, discussion? All in favor? Okay, reestablishing the RBI. Therefore, be it resolved that AMM lobbied the provincial government to reestablish ARBI, which he has, just the back there, it understands that here.
The Boyne River Basin Initiative.
Yeah. Okay. All of you. The AMM to establish ARBI for the 2027 year with unpredictable storms, excessive drainage, legal and illegal, and before mentioned areas of concern. Need for those closest to the affected areas need to be engaged and have a voice. Moved by Councillor Jones, seconder. Councillor Hatch, discussion. All in favor? This is a provincial radon action strategy to support Manitoba municipalities. Be resolved that the Association of Manitoba Municipalities advocate to the province of Manitoba to develop and implement a comprehensive provincial radon action strategy to address radon exposure and support Manitoba municipalities in protecting the health and safety of their communities. Further, be it resolved that such a strategy include coordinated provincial leadership in the areas of public awareness, province-wide testing initiatives, mitigation supports, regulatory modernization, and financial assistance programs to ensure a consistent, equitable, and effective province-wide approach that reduces financial and operational pressures on municipalities. Moved by Mr. Jones, second Councillor Hatch. Discussion. All in favor? Those amendments in section 152.2 of the removal of attendees at the municipal act. Therefore, be it resolved that AMM lobby the Province of Manitoba review and amend the municipal act as a whole, but with special respect to section 152.2 to strengthen municipal authority to maintain order and safety at council meetings with respecting procedural fairness and the public's right to attend. And further, be it resolved that such amendments include a graduated range of consequences for repeat offenders, including escalating consequences where an individual has demonstrated a pattern of improper conduct at council meetings, and therefore be it resolved that the province of Manitoba consider amendments that would allow council by resolution to subject to clear criteria and procedural safeguards to prohibit and ban an individual from attending council meetings for an extended period where a documented history of repeated improper conduct exists. Moved by Councilor Jones, seconder Councilor Hatch. Discussion. All in favor? Okay, that's all that's for the June district meeting. We're gonna have those. Okay, we have resolved that this meeting now adjourns to an in-camera meeting to discuss items related to matters in preliminary stages and enforcement as per subsections 152.3b3 and 5 of the Municipal Act, and all matters discussed in camera are confidential until discussed in an open meeting as per section 83(1)D of the Municipal Act. Moved by Fisher, second Councillor Hatch. All in favor? In camera. Okay. Be it resolved that this in-camera meeting does now resume back to a regular meeting. Moved by Councillor Jones, second Councillor Fisher. All in favor? Carried. Okay, the first item is the tractor. Be it resolved that the surplus municipal tractor be disposed of via e-branded and through the procurement and tendering policy whereby if the
Undisclosed restricted bid
is not received the sales proceed through public auction through Ritchie Brothers auctioneers. Moved by Councillor Fisher, second Councillor Hatch. All in favor? Be resolved that the low bid of Blue Star Construction, the amount of $8.75 a yard from the north pit for an approximate cost of $131,250 this year for gravel crushing for the year 2026 to 2028 be accepted. Moved by Councillor Hatch, seconder Councillor McDonald. All in favor? Carried. Be the result that there should be quarterly completion report from January 1st, 2026 to March 31st, 2026 be received. Moved by Councillor McDonald, second Councillor Jones. All in favor? Carried. Be it resolved, that administration be directed to attempt the purchase of the subject land for future demolition. That's in the Nesbit store. As per the building inspection report. Moved by Mr. Fisher, seconder, Counselor Hatch. All in favor?
That's it?
I think if you get a south breeze and just accidentally.
No, we're still taping.
Okay, be resolved that this meeting is now adjourned. Meet again on Tuesday, June 23rd, 2026 at 9 a.m. in the municipal office. Moved by Councilor Jones, seconder, Councilor McDonald, all in favor? Carried. Included.